Welcome to chapter 17 of the book of Judges. Chapter 16 ended with Samson. He was the last person in the book of Judges that was called a judge, or one who judged. We now are going into two other episodes, I guess you could call them. One here is with Micah and a young man from Bethlehem, a Levite, and then another different young man, a Levite, with the last three chapters, I believe, of a book of Judges. But neither one of those are called, they're not called judges. It's more of these are more of a, not a story, but an introduction on how the things were at this period of time at the end of the Judges until the time of kings. And so it begins, and there was a man from out of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Micah. So let's go up to our map. Now Ephraim is over in here, Mount Ephraim, and this is where he was. And he said to his matri, mother, the 1,100 pieces of silver seized from you, and you adjured, or I'm not exactly sure what and adjuring it means, and said it in my ears, behold, the silver is with me. Complained, maybe, I'm not really sure on that word. Made an oath, or cursed over it, or made an oath over it, maybe. Exorcissus. And so the son is, Micah is saying that he took the money. And I took it. And his mother said, as many mothers do, overlook the sins of their sons, being blessed is my son in the Lord. And he gave back the 1,100 pieces of silver to his mother. And now I changed this as a big difference because there's a ta here makes it the. And he said to his mother instead of and his mother said, because the mother didn't say it, he said it too. By sanctification, I sanctified the silver to the Lord from out of my hand alone to make a carving and a molten image, idol, basically, and now I will give it to you. And he gave back the silver to his mother. Then his mother took the 200 of the pieces of silver and gave them to the smelterer. And he made it into a carving and molten image. And it was in the house of Micah. So here we have a man who, they know who the Lord is, Jehovah God, but yet they were making these idols for whatever reason, because the people around them were doing that, and they picked up on their ways of doing things. And now we're close to 400 years after Moses. So 400 years is a long time. This is the year 2020, so 1620. So it was 400 years ago. So 1620, what was going on in 1620? Boy, that was in the colonial period in the United States, and they were doing things way different than people do today. So this is what they were doing. They were making these idols, and it was in the house of Micah. So he put this idol, and they generally put them in a niche, which is a little cutout area in the wall, and bow to him, pray to him, whatever. And now, I've seen little things that people pray to more or less on automobile dashes. It used to be very common. You would see little Madonnas on the dashes of automobiles. I haven't seen it in a long time. And the house of Micah was to him a house of God. So apparently he was a religious man seeking God, a God. Doesn't say Jehovah. And he made a piece, an ephod and a teraphim, and you can add those to your English derivatives book, an ephod, an ephod, transliteration, and teraphim, another transliteration. Now, exactly what this ephod and a teraphim consisted of, it's only conjecture, but and he filled up the hands of one of his sons. Now, these could have been what I believe, and more than conjecture, they would definitely have to do with the priestly garments. So I think that what he did here, in my opinion, is that he made a priestly garments, and then it says, filled up the hand of one of his sons, and he became to him for a priest. So he makes the son a priest, and somebody that would be between God and him. And in those days there was not a king in Israel. A man did upright in his own eyes. Well, now this gives us a little bit of a time frame here, because it's saying in those days there was not a king, so it sounds like there was a king when it was written, which would have put it after Samuel at the earliest. And then it continues, and it says, and there was a young man from out of Bethlehem, Judah, from out of the kin of Judah. Now, he wasn't a tribe of Judah, he was a Levite. I believe it. He was a Levite, and he sojourned there. Now, from out of the kin, you would think, well, then he would be a kin would be of the Judah, people of Judah. But I think what it is saying is he was a Levite of the Levites that were in Judah. Best I can think of here. Now, Bethlehem, where is Bethlehem? Let's go back to our map. And here's Bethlehem down here, and Ephraim is up here. So this man, young man, has, it says, the man went from out of the city of Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn wherever he should find. And he came unto Mount Ephraim, and unto the house of Micah, making his ways, and just happened upon it, and came there. And Micah said to him, well, from what place come you? And he said to him, I am a Levite from out of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn wherever I should find, wherever God would lead me, but he doesn't say that, so wherever he ends up. And Micah said to him, well, sit down with me, and become to me as a father and as a priest, and I will give to you 10 silver pieces for days, and a pair of clothes, and the things for your means of life. So, become as a father and priest. So now we have in the New Testament, it mentions not to call anybody a father, because we only have one Father, and his Father in heaven. But apparently in those days, the priests were called fathers, and this was a young man, because he's saying, Micah's telling him to become a father and as a priest. Now, the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church clergy are called fathers, but not in the Protestant or the evangelical churches. And so he's going to pay him to be a priest. Apparently Micah was fairly wealthy. He give him clothes and things for his livelihood. And the Levite went and began to sojourn by the man, that would be Micah, and the young man became to him as one of his sons, really close to him, liked him. And Micah filled up the hand of the Levite, gave him everything he needed, and the young man became to him for a priest. Now, exactly how he dealt with these idols and so forth, it doesn't say, but they were there, and not a good thing. And he was in the house of Micah. And Micah said, now I know that, now here he mentions Kyrios, and the Lord, Jehovah, Yahweh, Eah, as I would pronounce it, and from the Greek transliteration of the Hebrew. Now I know that Kyrios did good to me, for the Levite became to me for a priest. So everything sounds good. The young man has found a place to settle, and Micah's doing well, has money, and has these little idols, and has this man for a priest. But that's about as good as it gets for Micah. When we go into chapter 18, it gets bad. So it was a short chapter, but I hope you'll continue with this story, find out what happens with Micah and the young Levite from Bethlehem. Until the next time, then, God bless.